Well, hey everybody, you might want to know, why did that break a valve spring? Let me show you exactly why this broke a valve spring just running 2,500 RPM. Used to look like this, looks like this. Alright, so as you saw from the last video, just driving down the road at 2,500 RPM, this thing broke a valve spring. Check the other valve springs up, valve springs are fine. I know the valve springs are fine. I know the valve springs work in this whole application, 9,500 RPM, 10,000 RPM. I know that these valve springs work perfectly. So it's like, gosh, there's got to be something going on. And so I'm gonna do a little bit of research and talk to some spring people why this valve spring like this turns into this valve spring at low RPM. So I give my buddy Nolan over at Iski Springs, or Iski Cams, a call because they use this same spring all the time. And there's nothing wrong with the spring. The spring is actually perfect. It is at where it's designed at. So it turns out that what happens with these springs is it's not really a frequency issue, that it is a surge issue. So what happens here is these springs at this lower RPM, and they'll just find this certain spot, this 1 RPM, and Nolan said that in their testing, Spintron testing, that they have found that any spring, any manufacturer has some spot in it at some RPM that it is unhappy. That the spring will surge, which means it gets uncontrolled and it just sits there and just kind of wiggles like this while it's going through its normal motion. It does it. So imagine it's really slow motion. It's like going down, and then as it comes up, it's going boop, 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 boop. It's just going crazy through the motion of normal like this. It's going all the way through it like that. And so Nolan told me, he says, yeah, he says, in fact, a few years ago, quite a few years ago, he says they actually ran through a problem with Hendrix Motorsports in cup racing, that on the pace lap they would break springs. Said for 6 weeks straight they broke springs on the pace lap. Says huge problem. What did they do to fix it? They raised the RPM up 200 RPM and it quit breaking. So that is something really amazing. So in this application, where I was doing was I was driving down the road, one steady constant RPM for about an hour straight, just and probably right in that range was this perfect little RPM where the spring was unhappy. Now, the way to fix that is change your RPM, go up higher, go down lower, or let the thing oscillate a little bit. So instead of just cruise control 2,500 RPM, you know, then I started going up a little bit, down a little bit, just kind of making the thing go up and down. This spring at that particular RPM, because what we have to do, this is a, think of it this way, this is a 9,500 RPM, 10,000 RPM, think of it like this, 900 lift spring. Well, this isn't some stock LS spring, okay? Because a stock LS spring can't do 900 lift at 10,000 RPM, okay? So there are compromises you have to do. And this spring just happens to find its perfect spot. And I think that's why Cletus was breaking springs, because it was at some spot RPM that I had actually ended up recreating, because his camshaft and his valve train, everything is exactly the same as what mine is, since it's my engine. Ned Dunphy had problems, but Tom Bailey doesn't have problems with his drive. We've never broken a valve spring driving. Clark has never broken a valve spring driving. Only Cletus and Ned Dunphy. Really weird. The blower cars don't break valve springs either. Different design camshafts of different profiles, so probably there's some spot in a different RPM where it's surging you don't even know about. And then temporary surges where you're just like driving through it, like you're just accelerating from the stop sign through. Doesn't really matter. It's just accelerating and doesn't do anything. It's just one steady RPM where you're just holding it, and it has this really weird problem that I didn't even know or even think about, to where it will just destroy a perfectly good spring, just like it does in cup cars, in NASCAR, just like it does in power boats, just like it does in anything that has a very specific long duration run time where it just sits at 1 RPM. You got to really make sure that the springs are correct. So we're changing springs on this to a different spring with a different rate to get it into a different spot. And then even then, maybe the spot would then be 3,000 RPM. I don't know. It's just kind of one of the nature of the beast of drag and drive stuff, because you don't find, this is not happening in Pro Modified. That's a different kind of breakage. This is not happening in any other thing other than something that stays steady RPM. So low RPM surge, very fascinating stuff you learn here at Steve Morse Engines. All right, so now coming up next is a really sweet LS 2200 plus horsepower E85 dyno and build you're going to cover with David Regis. So that's coming up. And then I'm also going to cover why I'm holding all these wires, because I hate wiring so much. It's just not my deal. And how much I appreciate my wiring guys for taking care of the issue that was going on with the wagon. That's coming up here in a little bit also.
All right, guys, so I'm up on the dyno today, dyno number 2, while he's over there on Camilla's engine, trying to get that thing running and sorted out. I'm over here on dyno 2 trying to get this, not an SML. This is not an SML. This is a Noonan block deal. So this is for David Regis. Appreciate David's patience. We've had this project for a little bit too. So 2 kind of longer term projects that we're trying to finish up at the same time. This is a 427 cubic inch steel. Mass black label 305 heads, bullseye 83 millimeter turbos. This is running on methanol. It's not really, I mean, super crazy. We're just trying to get like 2,000 horsepower is all we're trying to get out of it, which should be plenty attainable for something like this. So just going through the initial process of starting stuff up. This is on a Fuel Tech FT600 system. So just a little bit of messing around to do there. Just trying to get stuff figured out still. Never mind. Come on! Almost. Sounds like it needs more fuel. I don't have anything to say about that.
You got it.
I did get it.
Now here we're starting out just doing base pulls. On the wrong fuel, of course. I'll talk to you more about that in a minute. So these are just short, lower RPM, just going through, verifying tune, come back in, make the same pull, doing a little bit of dyno setup also, and just verifying that things are working properly. That the tune's close enough that we can start revving it up even higher. Now you can see here, I've moved my RPM settings, so you can see the blue line has now moved over to 7,500. And then later you'll see that I move it up to 8,000. We're also starting to add a little more boost. So nobody cared if it makes 1,000 horsepower, so that was just to make sure things are all good.
Well, the math checks out. We figured, you know, this engine makes 700 horsepower NA. I have to look at the data log, but I mean, put 10 pounds on a dome, 5 pound spring. It's 15 pounds, so basically 1 atmosphere. And it actually did better at 1445. So.
I pulled back just a little bit quick. Chicken footed it. Chicken armed it. Alright, let's see here. too much information. Let's get rid of information. Everything looks good. Yeah, 15, a little over, about almost 16 pounds of boost. That's about right. So we can work on some tune-up stuff. I'm not sure where. I'm not tuning this one yet.
Yeah.
No. Well, he does fine. We'll see where he's at here. All right, so forgot to add into the video everything about the electrical problem. It is, one of the common things that happen is that sometimes it's just the simplest thing you'd find. Let me show you exactly what we found out. So we get to the hotel on Saturday night. We've had problems on day 1. We had problems on day 2 with line lock, the brake light. There was stuff that just wasn't working. We get to the hotel. It's running, it's driving. We get to the hotel, driving through the rain. And as we're driving down the highway, all of a sudden my horn starts going off. It's just like, okay. And then it quit. It's like, okay, that's all right. We get to the hotel. We shut the car off. We go up to the hotel room. Me and my wife, I come back down. And I go, oh, I'm going to come back down and I'm just going to download the data log, because I never downloaded the data log from being at Mid-Michigan Motorplex. I go to turn the car on and it is stone cold dead. I mean, there is nothing that works except the button that I hot wired in for the starter. So I knew the battery wasn't dead because I could sit there and crank on it, but I mean, there is no electronics, there is no nothing. So I call up, so we're now at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And I call up my wiring guys. I call up Andy, call up my buddy Alex that wires the car. And he's protege of Andy Chop, who is ringleader of the wiring clan, whatever you want to say. And I couldn't get a hold of Alex, so I called Andy. And Andy goes, okay, yep, sounds like the smart wire's bad or something. That's pretty weird. I'll be there in 3 hours. I go, holy crap, are you kidding me? Well, so we're still trying to get a hold of Alex, because Alex knows everything about the car. Andy was going to come and reprogram, pin out, and try to figure out all the pinning that Alex did, because we couldn't get a hold of Alex. Well, ended up getting a hold of Alex. I think Andy had already left the house, but we got a hold of him. So Andy turned back around, and Alex drove 3 hours from the other side of the state over to the hotel in Grand Rapids where we were at. So at 1 o'clock in the morning, Alex is over here brought a speed wire, or smart wire box with him. Sorry, smart wire. Brings the box with him, starts programming it, and he goes, "What in the heck? This is not programming upright." He's doing it, and so he starts pulling on cables, starts looking at stuff, starts trying to find out what it is. One stupid cable right here, this black cable and this connector we have it now. Alex pulled it back and zip tied it right here. It used to just kind of loop down. It had come unconnected from that silver connector right there into this module and caused all the problems. So, and that's why on Sunday, during the last day of the race, the car was just perfect. Everything was just fine. It worked like it was supposed to. Everything was done. One cable, one stupid cable did all of that. So it had just come separated in there. So probably because it was looped, somebody might have hit it with their foot or something. That is kind of one problem with having everything right here. I might build some kind of kick panel for right here. Might do something like that. But I cannot say thank you enough to Andy Chop for volunteering to come when it wasn't his problem at all. For Alex coming when it really wasn't his problem at all. And fixing and taking care of a problem. I mean, that's what we got to rely on. It's secondarily, you're looking at the transmission. I had a lot of people comment about, where's the transmission cover? You said you weren't going to race this unless the transmission cover's there. I'm still working on it. It is so much bigger deal. I mean, it is a bigger deal. There's stuff running through there, hoses, trans coolers. Gosh, there's so much crap going on here. I do have a trans blanket for it, and I think I'm going to put the trans I might have to do a little bit of modification on it, but I think I'm gonna put the transmission blanket on it for everybody that's concerned about my safety. Put the transmission blanket on it because I think it's gonna, and then probably just take it off during the drive because we want things to cool down, not heat up. So I might do that, but even the transmission blanket is covering up all these lines, fittings. It's not a simple deal anymore. You know, you have everything here with control knobs, dump valves, all the stuff that's all associated with it. So there's just a lot of stuff going on. I will get it figured out. Okay. Maybe someday, if I can ever get time, we'll get in there and cover this whole thing. That's still a possibility too. So anyways, many thanks to Alex Bowman, Andy Chop, saved my bacon on a simple thing because I did not see it. I couldn't figure that all out. I wasn't even, you know, by 1:30 in the morning is when we had it all finished up. So anyways, that's it on the wiring.
Yeah, I'll take that. Put 5 more pounds on the dome and made 14, so 200 horsepower or 5 more pounds on the dome. Have to look at the data log and see what that actually equates to as far as boost, but yeah, it's doing pretty good. Slowly, we're just creeping our way up there. This particular guy, David Regis, doesn't want to really make much more than 2,000. It says specifically in his paperwork 2,000 max boost. So, I mean, we'll achieve that easily with this thing. So, we're on our way. Yeah, buddy. $1833, 7,500. Yeah, I think that. Like I said, we're just creeping up on it. I'm just going. I've tuned enough of these engines that I know that I'm just gonna go 5 psi on the dome at a time. So right now I'm 20 psi on the dome. It should be like 18, 19 pounds of boost. So that's pretty good. 20 pounds of boost for 1833 on horsepower, 1330 on torque. So much power, it's off the graph. So it's got a weird spot right there. Not really sure what that's all about, but it does. I mean, I guess if we interpolated this out and we just got this, you know, bump out of there and just made it smooth, it looks right. So I'm not really concerned about that. I think that just might be something with the data acquisition with the dyno, making that one really small bump. But yeah, we'll keep getting after it.
Well, all right, so we're all back at it. Kyle had everything all sorted out on methanol and made good horsepower on methanol, but then turns out didn't read the paperwork that we needed to run on E85. This is Dave Regis. Dave, this is Dave's engine. You're from Phoenix? Albuquerque, New Mexico. And you have a company, or you do tuning and stuff down there too. Racing and tuning down there.
Yes, I do. I'm known by Psycho Tuning in our area.
Psycho Tuning. All right.
Tuning.
Excellent. So this has been a long run project, unfortunately. Not quite as long as the Big Black Hemi, but I think this was actually number 2 on the delay list. We waited for 1 year and 1 day for the crankshaft alone to get here. It is ridiculous. And then it puts me so far behind schedule, it's just hard to get all caught up on things. But to give you an idea of what this is all about, I said Kyle already gave you a little bit of rundown in one of the previous videos. This is a Noonan billet block with a mast cylinder head on it. Now this has our normal, this is the dyno SML kit. So 83 millimeter bullseye turbos, And in reality, most all of this is pretty close to what SML is anyways. We can use all the same componentry, the hot side, cold side, same style intake manifold, just a different head block configuration. This is the Noonan billet block, mass cylinder head, and a little bit different, as I told you about the crankshaft, taking a freaking year and 1 day to get here, as a Cali's Magnum 3625 stroke crankshaft. So this is 388 cubic inches. Kyle misspoke, it's not 427. Has all our normal goodies, you know, set up still as a drag and drive type valve train camshaft combination, but it's not really for drag and drive. You're not going to do much of that. You drive it though, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So oh, never mind. It is really, realistically, it is. It's a streetcar. This is replacing your 5.3.
Yes. Junkyard 5.3.
He's got a junkyard 5.3. Next step up. Well, this is probably 3 or 4 step ups, but yeah. And you see here, so it's got our typical dry sump setup. I don't have the Peterson tank on it because the Peterson tank is over in dyno room. Bing, that one. You can see it over there. So that's in dyno room number 1 right now. So we're still using my old tank here, but the Peterson pump, air motive, fuel system. We have it running on Fuel Tech, even though, like I said, this is our dyno setup. Dave's gonna put it on Hall Tech.
Yes.
So yep, so Dave's gonna put this on a Hall Tech system with his turbo system, which is gonna be a single 88, you said?
Single 88 for street. I do street racing. And
Yep.
then I'll have a bigger turbo for the track.
Then a bigger, yep, all right. So either way, it's gonna be a single.
Yes.
Yeah. What else we got here? A smaller injector because we are on, oh, I'm sorry, did I say we were on E85? We're on we're on E85. So this is a 1 ethanol E85. So really nice, solid piece here. Everything's looking really good. So we've been making pulls on it already. Kyle was making pulls on it, got all tuned up on methanol, all for naught. And so now I came in today and he goes, oh, I saw Kyle was running on methanol and it's supposed to be on ethanol. I said, yes, it is. Okay, cool. So we've been redoing the tune up on that and that's no big deal. So we've already been in the 1100 horsepower range, 1400 horsepower range, 1800 horsepower range. And so now we're going to go into it and look at trying to make over 2000 horsepower. Still at a moderate boost level, so we're still good and safe on this, and not trying to lean on it and kill it. Because 2000 was always the goal. Really doesn't think he's going to be racing at 2000 horsepower level very often, and so we're just playing. Going to end up just playing with it a little bit and see what we can make with it in real E85 non-intercooled form. So be interesting. So ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go out and see if we can make 2,000 horsepower with it right away, and then we'll go from there maybe.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right. Alrighty, so that is on. I'm gonna see what that is for boost level here. Now this is on 85 again, so we're just sneaking up on our tune-up, kind of trying to figure out exactly where we're at. We know we're on the rich side, probably a little under-timed. See what kind of boost we made here, because we just made that same horsepower close to it, wasn't it? What was it? 18. It was 18 something. Let's see. Or 1831 is what it just did make. I think this has probably put us in a different part of the curve. Oh no. We have lost boost. So that is at 24 pounds of boost. It was at 24 pounds of boost. Oh. I probably did not send to ECU.
You didn't write it?
I didn't read and write. Yep, I did not send to ECU. Isn't that sweet? Well, that's a good repetitive pull there. 1831 on the pull before, and this pull made 1847, 1232 foot-pounds torque, basically 24, 25 pounds of boost. This gauge is about half a pound to a pound off of the actual ECU log. So, whoops, we're gonna go in and actually send ECU, and we'll take a look at the data log here real quick on the old fuel tech and see what we were calling for there, because I obviously did not do that quite right. So download, there we go, that was previous. I will download this one. All right, there we go. Yeah, 25, and yeah, somebody forgot to send to ECU. Yep. So, all right, we are going to we're going to change that over. It looks good. Yeah, it looks actually, yeah, it looks exactly the same. So there you go. All right, so we're going to change this over, and let's send to ECU this time and up our boost. Alrighty, you can hear it starts sounding angry, doesn't it?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good. Alrighty, so that is 2,082 at 8,000 basically. Still making its peak torque out here at 7,800, but that's just because of where we're manipulating the boost curve at. So, because there's no sense, we don't need to make 2,000 foot-pounds of torque
No.
anywhere. That's just hurting parts there. All right, let's go back and look at the numbers and see where we're at. Should have been right at 30, maybe just maybe a pound more, maybe. Let's see. Oh, Dewey's found something he wants to yell at. Let's see what he's... 29, 28 pounds of boost right there. So that's pretty good. Happy about that. Down there. Yeah. I think everything's looking pretty good. Yeah. We're gonna get rid of one of these that doesn't have any bearing on what we're doing. Here we go. All right, fuel pressure looks good. Oil pressure has been spot on the money, 100, 105 pounds right in between there, so that looks good. Even up at that higher RPM range, it looks nice. Scroll down, yeah. Really nice, good broad flat right there. And that's probably a, let's see, right at, yeah, it might be starting to get to a natural spot where it's starting to lay over a little bit. It'd be pretty normal right through there. So that is looking pretty good. And you said you wanted to turn it up higher than that?
Sure. If you're comfortable with it.
Sure. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's all turn it up. Yeah. I don't mind. I think we'll let it cool down here for just a little bit, and I think everything is right spot on money. I think we'll probably put like oh heck, we'll probably put like another 5 pounds at it and just see what it does.
Okay.
Feel pretty good about that. That'd probably be in that 30, under 35 pounds boost range. I think is a good, nice, safe spot for this. You know.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, if I had to guess, I think that we didn't make as much boost as what I thought we should have here. So we made 2109, I saw flash up there. Let's take a look at that real quick. Made a little more horsepower right through here. That red line is current, so this would all have been the same. So it was good right here, so that's 2064. So it's 100 horsepower better there. Let's see what we're at. Boost wise. God darn it, what the heck? Oh, it only made 29 pounds, yeah, it was 29-ish pounds of boost before. It made 30. All right, so we only picked up 1 pound of boost. Let's go see what is going on here. If it's what the reasoning is, it did not follow. So let's take a look at our data log. Download the latest one, and we'll see. I know I sent it. I looked at it like, I think I actually sent it 2 or 3 times, but let's see what we look like here. Oh, something happened right there. This is our boost curve. Yeah, it made 30, jumped down, and then came back up to 30. It thinks it made 32 right there at the end, but it was already done making the pull. All right, so what is our O2s are on? Everybody's happy. Timing looks good. Our wastegate pressure. Target wastegate. Let's compare our target wastegate. Oh, fudge. You know, there's this magic thing called a boost over boost safety that I have set at 30.
Well, at least you know
And there,
safety works.
That's what that is right there. Is it is all angry. I just remembered that. That is, God darn it. Right. Maximum boost 29.9. So there you go. Okay. As Pete Harrell would say, we'll hit the magic up arrow button and send that again. Here you go. Sending. We'll go in there and it's very repetitive.
Yes.
It is very repetitive. So that's all good. All right. Let's go back in here and check our fuel situation. Make sure everything's all good. Alrighty. Back at it. And boost safety turned up. Alrighty, I think that is probably about right. So I think that's a pretty good number for where we're at on fuel that we're on. So let's on E85. That's E85R, the 1 ethanol brand is what we're using there. Let's go over here. Let's look at our. I don't think it made 35 pounds though. Nope, made 33. So 33. So it's still in line. It's just it's starting to want a lot more gate pressure on top of it to get it to do what we want it to do, which is normal. That starts getting involved in just the exhaust turbine size of the turbo. That just starts getting me a hot side issue of why we got to start stacking up more and more and more. So we'd be at, I'm at 30, I think it went 37 pounds of dome pressure to make 32 pounds of boost, and it's got a 5-pound spring in it. So yeah, it's just starting to stack up. It's not bad yet, but it is reaching that point. 1,488 foot-pounds of torque at 7,800. Let's see what it looks like on a graph. It's probably pretty nice. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to do. This is versus the 30 pounds of boost. And then this would be 33 pounds of boost. And I just made it up here. We're not trying to kill stuff down here. We're just proving out what it can do. So I think everything is looking real good. That is over and above what we were planning. So that's all cool. All good in the hood?
That's good.
Good in the hood.
Happy.
All right, awesome. So we are going to start getting this thing packaged. Obviously, you're not taking it on the flight back with you.
No, I don't.
So
think,
we're
I don't
gonna
think Southwest wants to.
Yeah, not yeah.
Carry it.
Yeah. So we're gonna package this thing up and get it shipped out to Dave and rock and roll. So I'm Steve Morris. Steve Morris Engines. Have a great day. Like, subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed. Don't go back. Double check it. And well, that's it. Have a great day.